Hello, my darling critters. Last week I predicted if we get any sort of combat in this episode, it would be through wandering monster rolls as Bell's Hills travels to Yeoth. But I also predicted we may make a side trip to Imogen's mom. Well, I was half right. Who am I? I am the BookTube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. Yes, I was completely wrong about Imogen. I really thought in this episode, episode 40 of the Bell's Hills Critical Role campaign, we would find more about the big surprise that Imogen's mother is alive. And I thought we may even take a side trip to visit her, but as usual, Matt pulled a fast one on us, and instead we got more Chetney. Yes, another Chetney episode, and it took me completely off guard. If you remember, last episode during the Rudius Flare, Chetney went berserk and ran amok. But I really didn't think we'd get more into his story in this episode. I really thought it would be about Imogen. Am I the only one? Let me know down in the comments, and while you're there, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. But first we did get that wandering monster encounter. It began with a flurry of cockatrice, those small little chicken monsters that can turn you to stone. And this is one of those monsters that I think everyone who's played D&D has encountered at least once. But there's a twist. Of course, there's a twist. These cockatrice weren't attacking the ship, they were running from something, a chimera. And it was kind of fun seeing how excited Matt was to use this chimera.
That finishes your turn. You can see like one of the other ones that's like climbing up the side here as it's squawking, and then something pulls it out of view.
Oh no.
Oh, fuck!
Oh no.
And this is when you realize that they weren't attacking the ship, they were fleeing to it. As these massive, like almost bestial, weird, like scaled claws hit the side as wings, big white leathery wings kind of as it pulls up, and you see what looks to be a dragon head and a lion head and a goat head as it climbs up onto the ship right there. By the way, Ronan picked this. I asked Ronan what monster he wanted you guys to fight next.
With these guys right now, so I thought
I just taught him about the chimera, and he was like, "Chimera." I'm like, "All right, man, we're doing it."
So 4-year-old.
Watch that comment.
When you die, it'll be very special.
It's right in front of me.
It is.
Somebody.
By the way, there's a very adult novel, very adult, called Chimera by John Barth that may be considered a classic, and it's made up of 3 novellas, like the 3-headed monster the book is named after, and it's a very trippy read. And I remember when I read this novel, I was calling it Chimera. And I've always kind of liked that pronunciation better for some reason. Chimera or Chimera. Chimera. Anyway, Bell's Hills had to defeat the Chimera. Chimera? Chimera. And it's one of those battles where you don't really expect it's going to give the party much of a problem, and it really doesn't. But we do get to see some abilities that we haven't seen before, like Chetney using Turmoil, that cane weapon that turns into a scythe. And we saw Laudna's new form of dread, but most surprising is Imogen's ability to summon some sort of red Ludius shade that does psychic damage. And I'm assuming it's the same power that Odahan Thal uses to summon those echoes. Maybe.
Okay, Imogen is gonna look around and sees all the chaos happening around her, and all of a sudden she closes her eyes and opens them back up, and they're bright red.
Ooh, what?
And as she just closes her eyes to all of it, she puts her hands to the side of her head, and next to her, a red entity starts to form.
Okay. You all watch as this odd little pocket in the air just kind of seems to flare like a spiral of red energy, and as it empties outward, this creature pulls through, made of like red materia. Looks humanoid, but it's not fully there. It just kind of like wisps of red energy. It has kind of an elongated head, almost like it kind of stretches back wider and longer than though thin at the front, than a human skull, like a half xenomorph, if you will.
Do spell.
It's a red panda.
And it just kind of emerges.
Excuse me.
What
You
do
can just
mean?
summon something else.
What
It's
do you
semi-transparent, and it just kind of
Okay.
like stands there and kind of like glides in the space next to Imogen.
I'm sorry?
And I'm gonna look over at it and just think at it. Attack.
Looks over at you, like you don't see features. There's no eyes, no face. It's just like red energy that's kind of like wispy and not fully there as it kind of turns back and goes to strike towards the creatures. So go ahead and roll for the creature's attacks. And with that, after it like seems to focus towards this chimera, and then it just is these claw strikes.
It's actually mental strikes.
Okay.
So they do
So it just
psychic
holds its
damage.
arms out at the side, and you see like the red energy at the back of the head seems to almost intensify and glow, and as it does, one of the chimera heads like withdraws, and you see almost like a streak of red energy kind of flare off of its head as it does so, and the other head gets hit with another similar strike, and both heads kind of like reel like they just had an extreme pounding headache in an instant. Is that your turn?
Yes.
Okay. It's looking hurt. It's looking hurt. It's now the
The Chimera is finally killed off by Fern using the ship's ballista. But the last half of the episode was all about Chetney. Because there was a storm coming, the ship had to take refuge, going down to the gloomed jungles. And this is where there is a bunch of shapeshifters called the Gorgonai live that can allegedly teach Chetney to control his lycanthropy, which he heard about from Ajit Dayal all the way back at the very start of the campaign. We're finally here. And the party finds the Gorgonai, which includes werebears, and werepanthers, and wereboars, all types of were creatures, and their leader is Annalie, who is an older woman were-tiger, and she says they can teach Chetney to control his werewolf side through hemocraft. Now, is hemocraft a Matt invention or something actually in Dungeons & Dragons now? Because if you don't know, it's been some time since I've actively played D&D, so I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if you know the origins of hemocraft. But training Chetney will take a long time, many weeks. And there's no time for that because we have a ticking clock. The apogee solstice is just a few weeks away. So, Chetney agrees to take a shortcut, meeting some sort of god or goddess or spirit whose name was Keeper of the Savage Heart. And there's going to be some sort of ritual where Chetney is judged, and if he passes, he gains control of his lycanthropy, but if he doesn't pass, he'll die or maybe have to be killed. Maybe killed by the rest of the Bell's hells. So...
Well, I think there is something we could try.
That's great. That's great.
I do not know if you are ready for it, as I make no promises. Do you hold yourself in high esteem when it comes to your constitution and will?
Oh, yeah. Willpower is like 10 out of 10.
Well then, I appreciate confidence. Rest now. Stay here for the night. For in the morning we will walk to the temple of Sayadun. Zavrola. And if you are lucky, the spirit will meet with you. And it will either excise this itch or excise you.
That sounds... I would be honored. I'm up to the task.
Good. You all. You still wolf?
Yeah.
All right.
You mean,
Big lolly tongue on the side. I'm just wagging my tail.
You care about this one.
You can speak freely, it's okay. You want to hurt my feelings?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And if he were to lose his way, you would not hesitate to put him down.
feel bad about it later.
But yeah, we would definitely take him down.
Good. That's confidence on both sides.
That's where we end episode 40. I can't imagine next episode isn't going to be another Chetney episode where either he lives or dies while they're doing this ritual. I think there will be a chance that Chetney can die. I can't imagine Matt not having some sort of consequence or chance of failure. And I know many people, including me, will be upset if Chetney dies, especially after we went through all of that with Laudna. But assuming he does survive and gets control of his lycanthropy, my hope is that Bell's Hells will make the final leg of their journey to Yeos. And then we could get back into the whole finding out what's going on with the Rudius Moon. But I'm often wrong because Critical Role, thank you Matt Mercer, puts lots of different twists and turns in their campaigns. So we're going to have to wait until next week to find out. And as usual, I'll be there. Until we meet again, may all the books you read and campaigns you play be